She disappeared into the night without a trace, and for 21 years no one knew who the burned body on Fudan Road truly belonged to. But what no one expected was that the truth would finally come out because of a single slip, a single conversation, and a single man who couldn't carry the weight of a secret anymore. This is the story of a girl the world forgot, and the monsters who tried to bury her forever. 17-year-old Lin Xiao-wen had been arguing with her father the night she vanished. Her father hit her in anger, she ran out of the house, and she never came back. He searched everywhere, called police every week, and begged them to reopen her case, but all he heard was, she probably ran away. What he didn't know was that his daughter's body had already been found. Burned beyond recognition, holding a dead dog in her arms, left on a quiet road like a message no one could understand. Police tried to identify her for years, but the fire had erased everything except a faint scar on her wrist. They stored her remains, labeled her unknown female, and moved on. The case grew cold. Her father lived in guilt, and her killers went back to their normal lives as if nothing had ever happened. More than 2 decades later, a group of middle-aged men were drinking at a local food stall. One of them was Yi Hao, a quiet man who had spent years trying to silence his memory. But that night, after a few drinks, the past came knocking. Someone at the table mentioned Fudan Road, joked about ghost stories, and everything inside Yi Hao cracked. He whispered, "I know what really happened there." His friends went silent. And slowly, painfully, Yi Hao began confessing a secret he'd buried for half his life. Back in 1998, he and 4 other men, Little Pan, An Chi, Chang Bi, and a guy nicknamed Baby, used to hang out around a beetle nut shop. They weren't troublemakers at first, just bored kids looking for fun. But over time, they fell into darker circles. Groups obsessed with superstition, intimidation, and ritual. One night, Xiao-wen walked past their shop, and everything spiraled out of control. According to Yi Hao, the group lured her into the back room, accusing her of stealing money. She denied it, but they didn't listen. What started as shouting turned into pushing. Pushing turned into hitting. And then one of them grabbed a belt. Xiao-wen was tied up, gagged, and beaten until she could barely speak. The group panicked. They didn't know whether to let her go or hide what they had done. Someone suggested calling the police. Someone else screamed no. The room filled with fear, anger, and stupidity. And somewhere in that chaos, Xiao-wen stopped breathing. The men froze. She wasn't moving. She wasn't responding. And instead of helping her, instead of calling for help, they made the most cowardly decision of their lives. They decided to get rid of her. Baby suggested burning the body. An Chi insisted on using dog's blood to block her spirit. Little Pan went out to buy gasoline, rope, and a sack. Chang Bi found a stray dog and killed it to complete the ritual. They tied Xiao-wen's hands behind her back, placed the dog in her arms, and drove to Fudan Road. There, under the cover of darkness, they poured gasoline over her body and lit the match. Flames swallowed everything. Her face, her identity, her childhood, her future. By sunrise, nothing recognizable was left except that faint scar on her wrist. Yi Hao's confession spread fast. Within days, investigators reopened the entire case from zero. No more age assumptions, no more old biases. They re-examined every piece of preserved evidence. The rings, the cloth, the scar, the burning pattern, even old DNA samples kept in storage for decades. For the first time in 21 years, everything pointed to one truth. The burned girl was Xiao-wen. Police located all 4 suspects. They were no longer young troublemakers. They were older now, running shops, working office jobs, raising children, attending festivals like ordinary citizens. But when detectives said Xiao-wen's name, their bodies couldn't hide the truth. and Chi trembled. Little Pan couldn't look up. Chang Bi asked for a cigarette. Baby froze and stared at the floor like the ghost of 1998 was standing right in front of him. At first, they blamed each other. Then they blamed alcohol. Then they blamed bad luck and spirits. But as investigators broke down each lie, the truth came spilling out. 3 suspects eventually confessed. The 4th kept denying everything until DNA under Xiao-wen's fingernails matched him. The case was closed. The burned girl finally had a name, and her father, after 21 years of searching, finally stood in front of her grave, crying so hard he could not stand. He brought flowers. He brought the candy she loved, and he whispered, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." For more than 2 decades, he had believed she was out there somewhere, alive, angry at him, refusing to come home. But now he knew the truth. She never had the chance. The people who killed her went on with their lives, married, had children, worked normal jobs, while her body lay alone in a cold grave marked only as unknown female. But in the end, their biggest fear came true. The one thing dog's blood, rituals, and gasoline could never destroy was the truth.